Hey everybody, hope you're all doing well. Please excuse me. It is allergy season, so my severe allergies have returned. So I have the sniffles. I'm snotty. My eyes are watery and glazy, and I can't breathe all too well. So please bear with the cringe. Please bear with uh, my messiness here. It sucks. I did take some allergy medicine, but it's not working right now. Anyways, I'm here to talk about the astrology going on. Tomorrow night is the full moon in Libra. Um, and this full moon in Libra is uh, it's going to be an interesting one because it is setting the stage. It's sort of allowing us to see what the tone moving forward and what the things that have been beneath the surface now coming into our conscious awareness, things that we've been sensing and feeling and processing internally and in a private way, but not really it's not really clear and right in front of us where we can see it exactly for what it is. It's still in the peripheral. So this full moon in Libra brings things up into clarity in a sense. Um, and right now, the moon is in Virgo. The moon is in Virgo opposite the Mars. Let's see here. Let's pull up the charts. Okay, yeah. So Mars, the moon is in Virgo at 23 degrees, opposing Mars in Pisces at 22 degrees. And so this moon transit here is very interesting, being that it's the lunar transit right before the full moon. So even this moon cycle is assisting. It's like the alley-oop into the clarity to rise during the um, full moon in Libra. And how it works as this assist, this alley-oop, this moon in Virgo transit is allowing us to finally see the facts and in the details of what we've been sensing and processing on an internal private level. Because Mars, Mars here in Pisces, Mercury in Pisces, um, the North Node in Pisces. So that's a lot of Pisces energy. And we just had Pisces season, a couple weeks ago. We had that Pisces new moon. Um, and so with this Pisces energy, including a Mercury retrograde, um, it's it keeps a certain part of our mind and our energy and our spirit um, somewhat detached from being fully present in our here and now, because Pisces is a sign that dissolves separations and boundaries and allows us to become more imaginative. And as we become more open, because Pisces is very third eye crown chakra type of energy. It's third eye crown chakra. Um, that allow you to dissolve the framework that keeps you tethered in the mundane 3D plane. So Pisces is an energy that dissolves those frameworks, opens up the third eye to become more visionary and imaginary, and open up the crown chakra to experience transcendence and going into other vibrations. That is controlled via the subconscious mind and intentions and what is hardwired within you. So, all that to say, uh, we've been dealing with some lag here. It's a lag. So we've been moving through our reality, wherever whatever is happening, we've been moving through our reality while certain things in your life may be increasing in intensity as far as friction, as far as agitation, and pressure. Okay. And maybe you weren't really realizing the pressure up until a certain point when it became into when it became intolerable. And one of the check marks of where whatever things that have been operating beneath the surface in your life, more so nuances, tension, um, passive aggressiveness. Um, now it's now it's become a little bit more clearer. And what that was the Moon and Cancer transit. So if you remember a week ago, I made a couple Moon and Cancer transit videos explaining how that moon in Cancer transit would be squaring the planets in Aries right now, while trining the planets in Pisces and forming a conjunction with Jupiter. So that whole transit, it's what unleashed the tsunami of emotions, where you couldn't hold it in anymore. And it was understanding of all the shit that you've been tolerating or avoiding to make a big deal of, and now you can't tolerate it, and now it is a big deal and you just can't take it anymore. So there's an eruption, there's an explosion of energy, emotional energy, and it's not coming from anywhere. It's coming from a buildup of a lot of time. Because keep in mind, with Mars being in Pisces, this is Mars moving through the last sign of the zodiac before he begins a brand new 2-year cycle. So every 2 years, we're going through a period when Mars is going through a spiritual cleansing, a healing, a bathing, a washing, uh, because he's spent 2 years moving through the whole zodiac. And in Pisces, it's where decompression happens, decompression and dissolving of the journey. So all that to say is, when Mars is in Pisces, we're moving through an accumulation of energy over the past 2 years. So we're reaching a level of having to cope, process, and even cry or release in some type of way. This is the effects of Mars being in Pisces. So so it's not coming from anywhere, right? The eruption that occurred when the moon was transiting Cancer last week. So this unleashed the tsunami here, and the Cancer governs memories, emotional memories, family, nostalgia, the past, right? And so with that lunar transit and Cancer squaring those Aries placements and crossing over Jupiter, it triggered, because Chiron in Aries, it triggered the wounds, the memories, and a sense of nostalgia and a sense of wishing and wanting that things could have been better, things could have been different, or really just being in the processes of where you were, and even getting able to get into positions of seeing the movie in your mind from a different perspective, from a different angle. And from that, perspective, it widens the spectrum of how much you feel and understand, and not only the things that you went through, but that you went through with others, that you went through with family, and the shared uh, karmic dynamic transcending you into seeing the bigger picture and this whole samsara cycle, you know. So a lot there. And now that the moon is in Virgo, after that Cancer transit and opposing the planets in Pluto, we're becoming more dialed in of the things affecting us right now in our life. And we're having more detailed information and there are things happening in our reality that is undeniably increasing the pressure. And one of the most obvious things I can share right now is the you know the cost of gas, right? Um, the cost of gas prices. Um, so gas is very expensive right now. It's costing it's costing, $100. Like my friend posted a picture of him filling up his gas tank and he drives a Toyota Tacoma. It costs him about $106 to fill up his tank. Um, Another friend of mine, told me what was he driving? I don't remember what car he was driving, but he said he drives a Toyota Tundra. So, that's a V8 truck, contains a lot of gas. It cost him over $100 to fill up his tank. So we're feeling a tightness, right? We're feeling that squeeze and that tightness. It's happening. And why is it happening? It's happening because there's war going on, right? There's the blockade at that strait, whatever they call it. There's the blockade, there's the wars, there's all this tension going on. We got people, going to No Kings protests. We got people that, just a lot of things going on. You know all the things going on, right? If you're coming on my channel, watching my videos, it's likely that we're all hip to the same things. We're seeing the same things, and we're understanding what's happening in sort of higher perspective or more encompassing perspective because we've accepted certain truths that others may call conspiracies. So um we're experiencing this pressure, this tension, and it can go the route of the gas prices, but also the gas prices being a result from the wars, and it just connects and trickles from one thing to the other, and now we're looking at these facts, we're looking at these details, right? We're getting frustrated. What the fuck, man? Things are getting out of hand, and the pressure is on. So we're coming to terms with, we're finally waking up to the reality that's been being dreamed uh, collectively, unconsciously, but also uh, preset by the forces that be right now. And let me explain. So before Aries season, we were in Pisces season, and during Pisces season, Neptune was still in Pisces, or maybe it was, I think, during still Aquarius season. But in the winter, not too long ago, in February, at the start of February or at the end of January, Neptune was still in Pisces, Saturn was still in Pisces. Okay, and then we went through Pisces season, North Node in Pisces. Now Mars is in Pisces. And we had Mercury in Pisces for about 3 months, I think. I think about 3 months. And the reason why Mercury has been in Pisces for about 3 months is because he entered Pisces and then immediately went into shadow, meaning he was starting to slow down, getting ready for his retrograde phase. And then he reached the near end of Pisces, 22 degrees Pisces, and started retrograding. And that's a slow, 3-week process of retrograding. Then he came to a station on the North Node at 8 degrees and is now moving forward again. And right now he's only at 13 degrees Pisces. So he's only moved forward 5 degrees from his retrograde, and he's still in that shadow until he surpasses 22 degrees Pisces. And Mercury isn't going to enter Aries until I think like April 14th, 13th. Okay. So long, 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 long time of Mercury in Pisces. Mercury is a fast moving planet. He typically spends about 3 weeks in one sign because he's fast. He's the messenger. He needs to get around. He needs to gather information and needs to communicate what that information is. And when Mercury is in Pisces, he's not functioning at his best because Mercury is a very left brain logic, reasoning. I need my boundaries. I need my formulas. I need my facts type of energy. And Pisces, again, as I mentioned, it dissolves those things, opens the third eyes. It transcends the framework of this reality and takes you into higher quantum, mystical, multidimensional realms that are divine and supernatural. So when Mercury is in Pisces, it's like he's has been dosed on some type of psychedelic, right? Where his mind is he's here, he's there, but at the same time things are happening and whoa, look at there's a big spider on my that's the first spider in the house of the season. Hello there, spider. Big spider. So, um, Mercury in Pisces, right? This is when things get woo. I think I'm tripping, and you're not making sense. Other people aren't making sense, and it's just this weird space. So when Mercury is in Pisces, the mind is trying to sync up with your higher self and uh receive messages in a more supernatural way. Very common to have symbolic dreams, to have experiences in your dream where your subconscious is releasing a lot that it's contained. And so, maybe the dreams don't make sense, but there's certain things that contain a type of energy and some type of meaning, and it's that confusion of not really being certain as to what it meant because it does it's coming through in a non-linear format, but there's a feeling and there's something you can sense and intuit and on a peripheral level, but not quite see it. All right, this is Mercury and Pisces. This is Pisces energy. It's the mind tapping into frequencies in that are operating in the background, okay, in the background noises that's communicating, and it's coming through. A lot of it comes through in messages, in symbols, and trying to process that. Okay, and so Mercury and Pisces can also, be a way of trying to interpret. How do I interpret these meanings? How do I interpret these messages? And then it brings you into the labyrinth, right? It brings you into the labyrinth of trying to interpret things um, while balancing your objective and subjective and unconscious biases and being in the hall of mirrors of labyrinths to decipher a meaning and message in its absolute true and pure intention, which can be very, very hard. Um, it's a hard journey. It's a fucking journey. There's a reason why Pisces governs the feet is because we're on this spiritual journey through this labyrinth and through this samsara cycle. Um, and also why Pisces governs the eyes, windows to the soul, to the spirit. Um, anyways, I'm going on a long rant here. I hope you guys are keeping up with me. So with this Mercury and Pisces, it's like, whoa. And we can see, oh my gosh, I'm getting ahead of myself here. But we had that Mercury retrograde in Pisces, which is really gonna make the confusion go up. But the thing about this Mercury retrograde cycle is the North Node was very active during that whole time. When the retrograde cycle began, Sun was on the North Node. When the Mercury retrograde cycle ended, Mercury on the North Node for a whole week. So there is something that is powerful trying to connect to humanity right now. There are channels opening for humanity to have spiritual experiences, to have supernatural experiences where they can start forming the neurological pathways and allowing yourself to be open to the messages and communications and guidance of spirit, your higher self, the supernatural forces, whatever it is. So, so it's very interesting. And now we're being tested. Okay, we're being tested by all the things going on, and there's a lot of different perspectives and analysis of the shit happening in regards to am I recording? Okay, good. Fuck. In regards to the war in Israel, other political things. And one test that I want to mention that is got people very tripped out, and maybe I can pull up the video and see. Let's see, but it has to do. Excuse me. It has to do with shit that went down in the White House, on the White House social media account. Let me see if I can find the videos. So on Twitter and Instagram, the White House, posted two strange videos, and then deleted them. And people are trying to decipher, they're not really sure what it all means. Anyways, this is pulling me out and distracting me. So, on one of the videos that was posted on the White House, was it was a video that was camera was pointing down, so someone seemed like someone was recording in secret in the space that they were in, and there was a conversation happening, and the words spoken something. I think they were like, are we ready to launch? We're ready to launch. Um, Other words I don't really remember, and just like that, it was a few seconds, okay, and got deleted, right? So, what does that mean? Okay, what from that little bit of information does that mean, and what can we interpret from that? And ready to launch what? Nukes, an agenda, a war? Like what is that? And who posted it? Okay, and we're getting no information or confirmations of any of that. There's no response. There's nothing. Then there was another weird video that the White House posted that had a bunch of glitchy images and some sounds and some weird words speaking, and it was a very short video. That was also posted for a brief period of time and then got deleted. So what does that mean? What were those symbols? What were those messages? And it's so goddamn confusing. Mercury in Pisces. Okay, this is exactly what Mercury in Pisces is, making no sense. It's very weird. You can sense and feel something very real, but because it's not clear, you don't know what it is. And so, what have I been saying for the past few months since we've been going through this whole Mercury retrograde thing with Mars and Pisces is uh, connecting, right? Meditating and trying to feel in and intuit what these things means. Get your own clarity, your own guidance in processing these things, but also stay grounded in certain facts. Okay. Um, well, I don't even know if the facts are. I don't even know what I'm trying to say there. All right, and Mars and Pisces, okay. Um, Healing. We were talking about Mars and Pisces. This is the warrior coming into the healing, into the return of himself. All right. And now we're in Aries season. Now the moon's in Virgo, and we're about to have the full moon in Libra. I explained all of that going back to the moon in Cancer because it was one of the checkpoints building up to the shit that we're about to experience and leading into setting the stage for the major arc, because we're entering a new arc series right now. It's spring. Here we go. This is the new arc, the story arc. The new characters are entering your life, or previous characters are taking on a new embodied form. Maybe once they were allies, now they're turning into foe. Um, Drama, shit going on, right? Maybe folks that you thought were friends were actually frenemies. Maybe there's some betrayal, there's some backstabbing, and the things coming to the light, the things that you've been sensing, it's all coming up, and now the stage is set, leading into this Libra full moon. And soon, these planets that are in Pisces, Mars and Mercury, they're going to be in Aries. And then we're going to have a new moon in Aries where we will have Chiron, the sun, the moon, Mars, and Mercury all in Aries. Um, and then there's Eris, and I think maybe some asteroids in Aries as well. So, um, that's gonna be fucking wild. Fucking crazy wild here. Especially right now where, you know, they're wanting to send American troops, they're wanting to send thousands of American troops to Iran right now on the ground for war. And this is crazy. This is crazy, right? Because it's talk right now. It hasn't happened. We're feeling it. It's speculation. They're telling us it has, but we can sense that future, right? And it's like, what does that mean? What is it going to happen? And it's crazy. So many things are fucking crazy about all this shit right now. And I know I'm kind of a little bit all over the place, but it's because I got so much in my head right now that it's just, I'm like, the picture of the person drawing the red lines to all the things. I'm doing that without the board, okay? Without the board and the things. I'm trying to connect all these things for you guys. So I hope you're able to flow with me here, and understand the things I'm trying to point out here and associate it with the astrology. So, uh, about the situation with like Iran and stuff, and the Pisces energy, and uh, just how trippy and strange things can get, and beliefs and whatnot. So like there are folks that believe, and they're saying, and I'm not saying I believe this or I don't believe this. I'm trying to stay objective with this stuff because me, I don't fucking know anything. I don't fucking I know the astrology. I know what things they're telling us, and I know that those things that they're telling us aren't going to be the full truth and the facts. And I know that there's a whole lot more strange things happening. I know I've been in the programs, I've been through a lot of the fucking things. So, I know what's up, all right? But, there's interesting, um, you know, uh, beliefs and perspectives about the situations. And so we got folks out here that are saying that, the whole war in Iran is to go after stargates, right? That Iran has stargates, that there are giants there, that there are aliens there, and they're trying to, take them out, and they're trying to get control of that stargate, or things of that nature, and that, like, Trump is still in charge of the white hats, and leading humanity to liberation, and we're clearing out the reptilians, and we're saving all the children, and we're working with the Galactic Federation on this, right? There is that whole belief. And again, I'm not trying to say this, I'm not trying to like point them out in a negative way or say that that's stupid or delusional. But it's a crazy one, and that is the whole thing about Piscean energy. It brings us into a place of pure imagination, and I don't want to say that this belief going in that route that Iran is housing stargates and Nephilim or whatever and giants and there's aliens there and that's where there's a reptilian stronghold. Like I'm not trying to say that that's completely 100% imagined and made up, but Pisces brings us into this fantasy realm. So like all fiction types of fantasy books and movies and things like that, that comes from Pisces' ability to visualize and imagine. But when I say imagine, I'm not saying making it up. I'm saying opening your mind up to be able to visually experience, okay? Because when you imagine things, it's not always that you made it up, it's that you're tapping into something and your imagination holds the space, creates the opening for that energy to come through. And the third eye gives you the ability to see it, to visualize it, to sense it, to interpret it, to download. Okay. So I'm not saying that's all 100% made up, but Pisces, right? Pisces is the sign of fantasy, imagination, delusions, and whatnot. So again, I'm not saying that that route is a fantasy, it's delusional, or anything of that nature because I don't know. I don't know shit, but that's one viewpoint. That's one belief of of what all of this is going on. And there are confusing things that challenge that. Okay, well then what's Israel's role in it then? What's going on with Israel? What's going on with the Epstein files? What's going on with all the other things? Because there's a lot of contradiction. There's a lot of things that where if you look here under this light, you can see that and you can believe that. But then when you also add this other information and try to connect it, there's it doesn't I can't really see it forming this way, but more so that way. And it's like it's very confusing, you know. And some folks saying, like, and it's bringing a lot of people who once believed in this thing of like, okay, Trump's here to save us, the QAnon movement, White House, mass arrests and all the things, right? All those folks that really went down that path and and now it's everybody that was once on that boat, there's now like 60% less people on that boat. Okay, and the rest on that boat are still riding that boat, holding down that boat, going through the storm of the collective subconscious mind, but I'm not saying I don't know what to say about that because there's a lot of boats out there. There's a lot of boats out there being managed and trying to figure out the timelines, what's really going on and all this shit. And so it's a lot. So I want to say it's all true and all not true. Everywhere, everything, all at the same time, shit that's going on with CERN, parallel realities, and all this stuff. And I think the spiritual wars we've gone through is taking place through all these timelines, and crazy shit. So, what is really happening? What is really going on? Um, and yeah, anyways, that was a long, crazy rant I just went into there. So, um, a lot of different beliefs here, and I don't know what to tell you, what to believe, what not to believe. All I know is what we should be doing for our own selves in your own local reality is connecting to what your guidance is, okay? Because to know the plan, the master plan, if there is a master plan, compromises it. So I think we all need to be periodically confused and guessing and not knowing which way, that way, or whatever, because there are very high, powerful forces at play here, and we're part of that. We're connecting into that. So I don't know what to tell you. All I know is that focus on your body, heal your body, pay attention, do the moves that you feel guided to do, even especially if it's just an impulse, you feel this urgency, you feel this impulse to, buy this, do that, or put your money here and do, whatever kind of moves you need, power moves you need to do in life that you feel guided to, trust yourself and do them. Okay. And maybe some of these things that you do, the people around you won't agree with, but you feel urgent to do them, work through that. Try to uh honor what you feel is guided, because a lot of us here, we're meant to be the ones that sense that can sense the storm before it comes, and through that sense have be in a state of readiness, right? So things are going fucking crazy right now. And when Mars and Mercury enter Aries, it's going to really accelerate it. And what is fucking even crazier is all this shit is going to get accelerated again times two when Uranus enters Gemini. All right. Oh my God, you guys, this year is going to be fucking nuts. It already is fucking nuts, but this year's is truly gonna be fucking wild. So, oh my God, I don't even know what to say anymore. So much to say. Um, before I log off here, a transit that we've also been going through is the Saturn sextile to Pluto. This is an interesting one because typically sextiles are something that brings positivity. They are a favorable aspects. We like sextiles. They bring good feel good energies. They support us. However, Saturn is a maleficent, and Pluto also is a maleficent. I don't even know if that's the right word. Anyways, Saturn and Pluto, they're not easygoing planets. They're very hard and transformative and apply a lot of pressure. Saturn represents rules, structures, limitations, society, systems, strategy, governments, military, higher echelons, statuses, corporations, banks. These are all things that fall under Saturn's domain. Saturn is the ruler of physical reality and represents authority. Pluto, Pluto governs the unconscious, the underworld, okay? And Pluto is the planet of death, rebirth, transformation, and the planet that reveals what has been kept hidden, secret, or operating unconsciously. So these two planets, they are bulldozers. They are wrecking balls. They can be very intense, and they're at a sextile, which is not a sextile is a positive thing, but because it's a sextile from these two planets, it's a positive thing that is uh, that is being experienced through a frictional way. And what I mean by that is Saturn, because we also recently had the Sun Saturn Cazimi that happened last week. So over the last week up until still right now, there may have been things in our lives, in our personal lives, that have triggered conflict, anger, frustration, and just, I don't want to say rage, but just this fed upness, right? You've had it up to here. And Pluto aspecting you, your ego, right? Aries, your ego, your identity, your sense of self. Pluto sort of intensifies whatever situation is arising in your life by making you feel powerless because it's possible you really are powerless to the situation. You know, what the fuck? I'm powerless. There's nothing I can really do. I can't control XYZ in reality to eliminate this problem. But there, I feel so much about this. Something has to be done. And you're being so you're being challenged by things in your life where that puts you in a state and makes you very aware of how powerless you are to it. But powerless to an extent. Powerless to an extent, meaning that to change the reality, to change the situation that you're in that makes you feel powerless of the oppression you're going through. What is it about you that you need to change in your life and begin strategizing and recreating yourself to to plan your way out of the situation, right? So, for example, um, let's say, because here's a really common one, money, not having enough money, being broke, the economy sucks. You're living in shitty apartments and shitty neighborhoods around shitty people, and let's say things are getting to a level where it's just really out of your control. Like I have an example in my life, right? I got some neighbors and they ride dirt bikes and they're really fucking loud and they're constantly tearing up the space and they've disturbed my peace and it's gone on for a long time. And they've modified their bikes. They got new bikes that are louder, and it's fucked up, okay? And I have other neighbors that have a bunch of fucking dogs that live outside and they treat like shit. And we've called animal control and had issues with them for the last few years. And their dogs will literally bark for hours every fucking day if no one's over there telling them to shut the fuck up. So being in this situation, right? Neighbor there, we've contacted authorities, we've talked to people, we've talked to them, and everyone, this, they live there, we live here. We've figured out that what they're doing, nothing can be done. What they're doing, nothing can be done. And so in this situation of feeling powerless, right? It's like, well, I can't, I can communicate. I can communicate, hey, this is fucked up. Like, can you be more considerate? Blah, blah. Hey, those dogs, like, can you do something? Like, what the fuck? You can communicate, right? But then what happens when it's not well received? And instead you get a strong negative reaction. And the things that were bothering you before are now being increased, right? And it's being increased. And then because of that, anger arises because now we're in a situation of being of feeling blatantly disrespected, disregarded, right? But powerless because there's nothing I can do unless I want to allow a primal reactionary version of myself that escalates it to a level of violence, right? A level and is that the route to do? Is that the route to take? No, it's not. It's not. That's a low vibration, right? And now this is where a lot of people are in all these fights, all these riots that you're seeing the young people do. They're living through this energy right now too, but they don't know. where the fuck to channel it, okay? And Pluto and Aquarius is like, fuck it, all out brawl. We're just doing all out brawl in the city. Fuck it. Now, all of us, let's just fuck. We're going to all out brawl. They're feeling this energy too. They're feeling this tension too, but they're fucking dumb kids. So, um, with this sextile, all that to say, with this sextile, what is very powerful about these things going in your life, like for example, my situation, it's like, okay, well, do I have to really be stuck in this sense of powerlessness for forever, right? What can I do? I can move, right? And then I can move, but all my money has gone into this place, right? They're not going to move. They're not going to move. I'm right here. And also, what if I'm not making enough money to move, to do something else, and I'm stuck here, right? Then this is the situations, right, where it's like making you aware of your limitations, right? Your power's been stripped away, you're aware of where you're limited, and now you're having to think. You're having to think and reflect. How did I get here? Why am I here? Why am I not someplace better? You know, and so there's criticism, self-criticism is increasing, which adds to the frustration, adds to the agitation, you know, and so now it's like, okay, well, then, you know, there are certain areas in my life where I can improve. I'm not showing up better. I can do more. I can make more money. I can really work for a promotion. I can really strategize my business better. I can become better with my own money, my own finances. I have to pay off this debt, pay off that debt, pay off that debt, and get a plan. I need to get a plan. I need to strategize. I need to take myself serious. I need to pay attention to my money in a more responsible way. And not being so impulsive and just, you know, buy this, buy that, or eat this and eat that, or just whatever. Got to really focus here. How much does a house cost in what neighborhood? That's the price. That's what I want. That's my vision. That's my imagination. What about me? Do I need to change? Do I need to recreate? Because I'm tired of being in this pattern. I'm tired of being in the situations and blah, blah, blah. And I want to be a king. I want to be a master of my reality. I want to be in a place where I'm not dealing with this kind of bullshit anymore. Right. So, what in your life is bringing you to these stages here of going through a sense of powerlessness and limitation and oppression where you don't have very many choices except for doing better, becoming better, and having a plan and recreating yourself and becoming somebody else. Because there's so many, as crazy as all the shit that's going on in the world right now, there are miracles happening every day. Okay. There are miracles happening every day. There are people hacking the matrix. There are people that are anchoring in their little piece of heaven on earth. There are people who figured out what they can do to, you know, be in the place that where they want in a world that's fucking crumbling and in a place of chaos. And the new world is in the new world is being, you know, preset to start to unfold, and we're seeing the unraveling of the old world, right? So plan, strategize, work, stop procrastinating, get things done. Don't be caught off guard. Listen to yourself. And don't, you know, don't put the blame on others. Don't put the blame on your story. Don't put the blame on your identity attachment to your diagnoses. Okay. I'm sorry. Sorry. I feel that. I feel your pain. I feel where you're at. But I also feel the labyrinth of the mind, because I also know the potential of the spirit of the human and the body. And we trap ourselves. We consent to and allow ourselves to be trapped in these matrices. So you got to change your mind, change your beliefs, make it through that labyrinth, okay? Because I've been there with my conditions, my identities, my secondary gains to being attached to my identity attachments with my diagnoses, and all the weird, messy places the brain goes when you're beat down in that kind of uh, reality for a long period of time. Fucking sucks. But I didn't, I exited, I transformed that. I saw it and I didn't want it, and I became a better version of myself to escape that. And we're going to always be going through a cyclical spiral of different levels of this same hero's journey we're on, right? And now this is the new, we're entering a new story arc of our hero's journey in terms of soul growth and development, and how we are also growing and evolving as a global society in itself. Anyways, I got a lot of shit to do today, so I'm gonna end it at that. Peace, everybody.